Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Down Home Virginia. I'm Sherry McKinney.
And I'm Norm Hyde. Coming up this month on Down Home Virginia. Virginia extension agents are important to the agriculture industry and to consumers. We'll explain why.
Honeybees did not survive this past winter in the state. We'll tell you what this means to our farmers.
Hoop houses are making a big impact on the state's farming community and locally grown food.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Down Home Virginia. We are here at the Sneed Farm in Fredericksburg, and let me tell you what, this place grows fantastic locally grown produce, especially their tomatoes, which are grown on hoop houses here on the property, and we'll tell you a little bit about that later on in the show. But first, Norm, I know a lot of people are going to their county extension agent to get advice about gardening.
Well, actually, they're called cooperative extension agents, and they have offices all across the state of Virginia. And for almost 100 years, the Extension Service has been working to bring the latest agricultural research back to the country and to consumers.
Cooperative Extension was formally organized in 1914. Here in the Old Dominion, it's based out of Virginia Tech and Virginia State University. Since its founding, the local outreach and education program has been a major reason the American farmer is the most productive in the world. And all consumers have benefited from everything from 4-H clubs to nutrition programs to home gardening advice. Extension typically staffed a local specialist in each county or city in Virginia, but starting a decade ago, state budget cuts began to severely limit the number of local extension specialists. By 2010, the number of local agents had shrunk to the point there were only 3 ag agents serving 18 counties in an eastern Virginia district. Extension agents administer pesticide registration programs, help with water quality programs, and provide hands-on production advice you just can't get from the internet.
Time is money. Some of these pest diseases especially could wipe out a wheat crop in a matter of days, and if we're not there to identify it, it could amount to hundreds of dollars per acre.
Farmers are not the only extension customers without an agent. Agriculture and Natural Resource Extension agents administer the Volunteer Master Gardener program across the state, helping homeowners protect the environment. There are more than 400 Master Gardener volunteers in Fairfax County, the state's most populated locality, and only 1 agent to supervise them.
I probably put in at least 55 to 60-hour work weeks, and especially during the busy times right now during the growing season. We are very busy with classes, and then also with our plant clinics and all of our Master Gardener programs and our landscape professional programs.
Adria Bordas supervises a staff of 6 in her office compared to 30 employees a few years ago. In addition to workshops, she offers professional advice to landscaping firms, nurseries and greenhouses, and homeowners, while other staff run nutrition programs and a comprehensive 4-H youth program.
I really, focus in on plant pest problems, that being insects and disease problems, and help the homeowner and the landscaper with a good decision on how you're going to control or manage this problem, whether if it's using pesticides or not using pesticides.
Virginia Tech is currently studying ways to restructure the local extension agent system to adapt to ever-shrinking budgets. But extension customers are worried any step back from having a local specialist in every community could really reduce its effectiveness.
We need somebody that can provide leadership. We need somebody that can provide space. We need somebody that can provide guidance, someone that can make sure we keep getting the continuing education so then we can go out and help the community.
We would definitely like to see an agent in that county, or at least a group of regional agents that may be specialized in their own field.
As cooperative extension prepares for the future, the big question isn't whether there's a need for extension, but how the educational program will be able to continue to effectively serve Virginia farmers and consumers as it downsizes. Perched at the western edge of the Chesapeake Bay, Westmoreland County has 171 farms, principally grain operations. Farmers in Westmoreland County harvest 42,584 acres of cropland. The top commodities are corn, soybeans, wheat, and barley, generating $24.3 million in cash receipts. Another $1 million of income comes from the sale of beef cattle in the county. There are also 11 nursery operations raising bedding plants and shrubs in Westmoreland County, along with a number of pick-your-own farm operations and vegetable producers.
Why is the new animal welfare law so important to farmers? Well, for one, it provides language that will give earlier attention to animal welfare and a clearer understanding of what is considered mistreatment. A new bill dealing with the animal welfare standards was recently signed by Governor Bob McDonnell. This bill will set a standard for the way in which animals used for agricultural purposes must be treated by their owners. The bill states that farmers will provide proper feed, water, and veterinary care to their animals.
Existing law did not provide an avenue for legal action between what is acceptable and what is considered animal cruelty. And being responsible livestock owners, they wanted a way that we could start to interact through our animal control officers and local law enforcement with the owners that weren't providing adequate care but had not gotten to the point that they were treating their animals cruelly.
The legislation will allow for earlier intervention in cases of animal neglect. This law is intended to catch those who fail to provide basic needs to their livestock. For those who do not meet the requirements set by this law, not only will it warrant a Class 1 misdemeanor, but in the new law provides for an additional Class 4 penalty for cases that negatively affect an animal's welfare, even though it may not be considered cruelty under the standards of the law.
Virginia honeybees had another tough winter, with more than 30% of the hives not surviving. Candace Johnson reports state agriculture officials are encouraging more Virginians to keep bees.
The honeybee population has considerably decreased in the past few years, leaving farmers worried about future crops.
It's a hard road for beekeepers right now with the mites impacting hives and colony collapse disease as well as other diseases. Beekeeping it can be difficult. It can be very rewarding as well. So they're learning a lot. They're focusing on how to keep hives well maintained, well cared for, and strong to prevent problems.
Many don't think of bees playing a critical role in agriculture. However, farmers rely on honeybees each year to pollinate their crops. Extension agents and farmers are encouraging people to start beekeeping, whether it's just one hive or many.
It is a very rewarding hobby for them, and it's one in which you can get in. It does cost, but it's not like raising livestock. You can get in for less than that and then have an enjoyable experience with it. Just be very careful you're not allergic to bees.
To learn more about how to save honeybees or start your own hive, contact your local extension agent. Reporting from Fluvanna County, I'm Candace Johnson.
Up next on Down Home Virginia, Chef Maxwell has a tasty recipe for stingray with a fruit salsa.
Hi, I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, I'm going to talk about what you can do with winter-damaged boxwoods. Stay with us.
It is tomato season in Virginia, and did you know that the tomato is actually a fruit? A fruit is the edible part of the plant that contains the seeds, while a vegetable is the edible stems, leaves, and roots of the plant. Tomatoes are primarily grown in the eastern part of Virginia. This is Virginia's 4th-ranked cash crop. Virginia also ranks 4th nationally in tomato production. In 2009, Virginia growers harvested over 4,800 acres of tomatoes. The harvest produced cash receipts totaling over $63.2 million.
I grew this apple on my family farm.
I harvested this apple with my own 2 hands. I transported this apple to market.
I purchased this apple for my store.
I bought this apple for my family. And I protected this apple, the farm it grew on, and everyone who touched it by joining Save Our Food.
Help Virginia Farm Bureau protect farms and families by joining Save Our Food. Sign up today at saveourfood.org.
I love this apple.
Hi, welcome to Chef Maxwell's Kitchen. We're down here in Norfolk, Virginia at the Culinary Institute of Virginia, where the next generation of great chefs is being trained. And we're going to be playing with some wonderful Virginia food. We've got everything from the Chesapeake watershed. We've got peaches and plums and peppers, and best of all, we've got some stingray out of the Chesapeake Bay that we're going to be playing with. First of all, I'm going to make a salsa that goes into that. And I've got some peaches, and so I'm going to put some peaches and some plums in here. And I know we don't grow pineapples in Virginia, but pineapple is a symbol of hospitality for Virginia. So I'm going to throw a little bit of fresh diced pineapple in here. And I'm going to throw some red pepper that I've diced up so that we got some nice color. And I'm going to season this up very mildly with a little bit of white wine vinegar. Now, in about 20 minutes to a half hour, this vinegar is going to work with this fruit, right? And it's going to bring all of the sugars out. So it's going to be sweet, slightly sour, and absolutely perfect. Right? When it's finished, I'm going to add a little bit of mint to it. All right, but we're going to let that set. Meanwhile, I've got some stingray here. Right? So I've got a pan on here getting hot. This is an induction heating system, so it gets hot very fast. Right? I'm going to add a little bit of oil here. Right? I've got pineapple juice. I've got low sodium soy sauce, lime juice, and a little bit of vegetable oil in this marinade. It's very simple marinade. Right? So I've only had it in here for about a half hour. I don't want it to completely flavor the meat. I want it to just kind of give it some background flavor. I'm going to get that to cook a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and cut the mint up for the salsa. And it's good fresh garden mint. Smells good. Just kind of dice this up a little bit. Nice fine. And I'm going to take the salsa and put the mint in there and toss this around again. It's got nice bright color in here. Isn't that gorgeous? The red, the green, all those fresh, tasty fruits. All right. See how our stingray's doing. And add a little bit of moisture, a little bit more of that vinegar down in there. Try and pull some of that caramelizing liquid. That's coming from the pineapple juice. Pull that up. I'm going to give that a couple of more minutes to cook, and then we're going to plate it up. Okay, we're back here now. This Ray is just about done. It's only been a couple of minutes, but it's just about done. So I'm gonna pull it out. All right. Now, Ray, because it's so lean, needs to be cooked like it was a game animal. A little on the rare side, a little less than medium. All right. So we're going to take this one, cut some slices. And I'm going to put a little bit of this salsa down right here. And now I'm going to arrange this on the plate. Right? And I'm going to add a little bit more salsa, try and get some of the juice down here, right, to put over the fish. All right. So what we've got here is steak from fish. It's a fish lover's steak. Right? It's got all the qualities of beef or veal, but it's fish. Tastes like veal. Right? And with this salsa, it's really, really good. Remember, here at Chef Maxwell's, we always play with our food, but it's better if the food is safe, fresh, and locally grown. For more delicious recipes using Virginia-grown fruits and vegetables, contact Lisa Lloyd at the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services at 102 Governor Street, Richmond, Virginia, 23219.
Chef Maxwell's recipes are listed on the Save Our Food website at saveourfood.org.
Boxwoods are a great plant that is used as a foundation plant. It's also used as a screening plant or as a specimen plant. And just about all of us have seen them either in our own garden or someone else's garden. Wonderful plant, except it is subject to ice, snow, and winter damage. And as you see here, if you're looking at this boxwood, which really should be beautiful and green, and you'll notice, you know, some of the leaves just falling off, this damage occurred 2 years ago. And what happened was there was a heavy, wet snow, and it completely flattened out this boxwood hedge. What I noticed last year, this looked great. I mean, oh, there's no problems, it still looks green. Evergreens have the ability to maintain their foliage and their nice color for quite a while after damage occurs. And then all of a sudden I noticed this year, all the leaves are gone and all of this is damaged. And that's because this was completely flattened. And in some cases, you know, stems and branches that are flattened can rebound without any serious damage in a permanent way to a plant. Or, in this case, this had been flattened so long that the damage occurred internal to the bark, and it just took 2 years to show up. Real easy to deal with. I recommend going in and pruning out anything completely dead any time of the year. You can take a penknife and scratch the bark to see if it really is dead. Two choices on this. Might come in if you want, and I like to do this in the spring, if at all possible, is severely cut this down to maybe 12 or 18 inches from the ground. Or the other option you have is just to reach in and remove some of these long, dead branches, and it's not hard to do. What you'll notice is you pull apart the plant, you're going to see where all of this is dead. In fact, the bark is peeling off the stems. I want to go ahead and prune to where I see nice green growth growing up from the bottom. So I'm going to come in and usually with a heavier duty shears and prune it at about 18 inches. I like to prune it to where there's growth. It's not that hard to do. It goes quick. You can do this on a day where you've got lots of frustration and you want to take it out on your plants. It's a great way to exercise. And not only do you rejuvenate yourself, you're rejuvenating your plant. Once this is done, the plants will grow through the rest of the year. You'll probably come back in another time before fall and cut out anything that's completely dead that you find, because more branches may die. For boxwood damage that only occurs on 1 or 2 stems, you can just reach in and just prune that portion out that's completely dead. This boxwood hedge 3 years ago was like this. It was taller than me. So we just came in. Instead of ripping it out and replacing it, we trimmed it back. And if you look closely, you can see where we came in and pruned it all the way to about 12 to 18 inches from the ground. And 3 years later, look how beautiful this boxwood is. And all we have to do every early summer or spring is just thin it out. And that means you just come in and you find a branch that you want to remove, reach in and prune the branch like that. Now, if I came in and pruned that whole branch from the ground, this is what you want inside your boxwood. You want enough light to get through to have nice green growth growing up and down the stems. And then from that point on, this boxwood will live for another 50 years. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
You may have seen more of these unusual structures in the countryside this spring. They're called hoop houses, and they help farmers extend their growing seasons. We'll explain after this.
Extending the growing season in Virginia is difficult at best, as seasonal as we are. However, thanks to a program from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, farmers are not only extending their season, but they're also preventing soil erosion and using little or no pesticides. When temperatures begin to rise across Virginia, a cool breeze blows through the ventilation sides of the Boston family's hoop house on their 164-year-old farm. Inside the structure, 100 raspberry plants flourish in 3 long rows. The plants begin bearing fruit this month through November, more than double their normal growing season in Orange County.
Our main piece that we're looking at is trying to grow it a longer season, getting an earlier crop and getting a later crop. Instead of the raspberries fizzling out with the frost, they will go through November.
Hoop houses, also known as high or tall tunnels, are similar to a greenhouse, but are covered in thick plastic sheeting instead of glass.
If we have an insect problem, we can usually pick them off by hand and be done with it. But also we don't, as soon as we pick the berries, they're fresh off of the canes and we can consume them. We don't have to spray them with chemicals to make sure that they don't mold. And we can get them to our local area so that people can enjoy that good fruit.
Last year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture began a 3-year pilot program to provide $13 million to promote hoop houses and research their effectiveness for farmers in their land. More research and demonstration projects for hoop houses are also being conducted at Virginia State University near Petersburg. Meanwhile, Ellen Sneed and her husband have been using their high tunnel farming on their Spotsylvania County farm for more than 15 years. They grow asparagus, fruit, and Christmas trees on their family farm, and in 4 high tunnels, beautiful, lush tomato plants also grow.
We've stayed with tomatoes because they're a high-value crop, and they keep the diseases out. They, are a perfect season extender, so you get them in early and you sell them late.
Tomatoes grow well inside hoop houses because they do not receive rainfall, so it helps prevent disease problems. Typically a drip tap is used and they get watered heavily twice a day. Fertilizer is used sparingly as it goes straight to the plant's root system. They also bring in bumblebees, especially for pollination of the plants each year in the tunnels.
The bees are from a tropical environment. And which this replicates the more of a tropical environment, and so the bees pollinate the crops, and we house bees in each tall tunnel, and of course they fly in and out, but they're here specifically for the tall tunnels.
Hoop houses have been used extensively in Europe for some time and began catching on in the United States about a decade ago. For more information, go to va.nrcs.usda.gov.
Sherry, these hoop houses are cool. I'd like to have one in my backyard so I could extend my garden season.
Yes, I know, Norm, all of us would. It's really nice to know that farmers can provide locally grown fruits and vegetables well after the frost. It's a benefit not only to the farmer, but to the consumer as well.
And that's going to do it for this month on Down Home Virginia. Coming up next month, we'll show you how home gardeners can become greener by using some special watering techniques.
And of course, how the farmer is being greener, protecting the environment. And Chef Maxwell's getting on the green kick. He's going to have a recipe for green tomato cake you won't want to miss. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good month.
Between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic Appalachia, home in my heart always. You know I'll make my home in Virginia.
I grew this apple on my family farm.
I harvested this apple with my own 2 hands. I transported this apple to market.
I purchased this apple for my store.
I bought this apple for my family. And I protected this apple, the farm it grew on, and everyone who touched it by joining Save Our Food.
Help Virginia Farm Bureau protect farms and families by joining Save Our Food. Sign up today at saveourfood.org.
I love this apple.